Donald Trump swept into his second term as president with a slew of agenda-setting executive orders. The MAGA leader, 78, returned to the Oval Office after 4 years with a flurry of drastic measures ranging from saving TikTok to renaming the Gulf of Mexico within mere hours of his swearing in. He had set the tone for immigration, the climate, domestic and crime agendas in his new administration. Trump withdrew from the landmark Paris Climate Agreement and the World Health Organization, axed a whopping 78 Biden-era executive actions, and handed out more than 1,500 pardons. He had signed his first executive directives even before the inaugural lunch on Monday afternoon, using them to appoint several officials in top-ranking positions. After they are confirmed by the Senate, Trump will have his picks heading up the CIA, U.S. Army, Homeland Security, Defense Department, and more. He placed a freeze on hiring for any federal departments except for the military and a small number of other categories. An order was put down for all federal employees to return to full-time, in-person work, stamping out any remote working policies. He also placed a freeze on any more bureaucratic regulations until his administration regained full control of the government. One of his first acts after settling back into the Oval Office was to pardon over 1,500 Americans who were convicted in connection with the deadly riot at the Capitol on January 6, 2021. Trump also gave orders for around 450 pending cases against January 6 defendants to be dismissed. His supporters stormed the Capitol after Biden won the 2020 presidential election, falsely claiming the vote had been rigged. Roughly 140 police officers were assaulted during the attack, with some sprayed with chemical irritants and others struck with pipes, poles, and other weapons. 4 people died during the chaos, including a Trump supporter who was shot dead by police. Trump declared an official national emergency at the U.S.-Mexico border on Monday, meaning he can use federal funding to build a wall along the boundary without the permission of Congress. While signing the order, he said, "That's a big one, people have wanted to do this for years." He also signed a directive to end birthright citizenship when a person born on U.S. soil is given American citizenship. Protected by the Constitution, this order is likely to come up against hefty legal challenges during his term. Trump also signed an order to designate Mexican drug cartels and certain gangs from El Salvador or Venezuela as foreign terrorist organizations. This could give his government more powers to go after the criminal organizations with military strikes, or to forcefully remove their members from the U.S. He also reignited the Remain in Mexico policy, which forces asylum seekers to stay there while their cases work through American courts. Trump also promised mass deportations, although the specifics of this are likely to be challenged by the courts as well. And he closed down a Biden-era Customs and Border Protection app that gave migrants the chance to apply to legally enter the U.S. by seeking asylum. Trump withdrew from the Paris Climate Agreement on Monday, just as he did at the beginning of his first term. He said on Monday, "I'm immediately withdrawing from the one-sided Paris Climate Accord ripoff. The United States will not sabotage our own industries while China pollutes with impunity." He also pulled out of the WHO, meaning the organization will be millions of dollars worse off, and certain global vaccination directives will no longer apply to the U.S. Trump also declared another national energy emergency, paving the way for him to bypass certain green regulations. TikTok plans. Social media site TikTok recently came under fire in the U.S. because of its Chinese parent company ByteDance. It went offline during a brief ban in America on Sunday, but was back again with a notification thanking President Trump for his efforts. After officially taking office on Monday, he signed an executive order to block the ban from taking effect for a further 90 days. It gives ByteDance a month and a half to divest from TikTok, therefore salvaging the app for Americans. "I guess I have a warm spot for TikTok," he said. Another of Trump's most notorious pledges on Monday was to rename the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America. The ocean basin bordered by the U.S. Gulf Coast, Mexico's eastern states, and Cuba is a key point for fishing, transport, oil, and gas production. Trump said yesterday, "A short time from now, we are going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America." Earlier this month, he claimed the name change would be acceptable because we do most of the work there, and it's ours. Without a formal international precedent for this situation, it's unclear whether or not he'll be able to do so. Trump also renamed Mount Denali the highest mountain in North. Trump also signed 2 executive orders relating to security clearance levels. One allows White House employees to obtain top-secret levels of clearance without going through the traditional vetting process. Another removes security clearances for some 51 former intelligence officials who signed a letter saying that a news story about Hunter Biden's laptop was part of a Russian disinformation campaign. At a campaign rally last June, he said they should be prosecuted for what they did. In a slightly more bizarre move for his first day, Trump signed an order to ensure that all U.S. flags are flown at full staff on every inauguration day. It came after Trump complained that the flags would be flown at half-mast during his inauguration celebrations in tribute to the late President Jimmy Carter, who died in late December. American tradition dictates they are flown at half-mast for 30 days after the death of a serving or former president. He wrote on Truth Social, "In any event, because of the death of President Jimmy Carter, the flag may, for the first time ever during an inauguration of a future president, be at half-mast." Nobody wants to see this, and no American can be happy about it, of transgender people with an executive order. The directive said his administration would be sure to use clear and accurate language and policies that recognize women are biologically female and men are biologically male. "It is the policy of the United States to recognize 2 sexes, male and female," it read. "These sexes are not changeable and are grounded in fundamental and incontrovertible reality." He then signed an order crushing federal programs designed to improve diversity, equality, and inclusion (DEI) in the workplace, dubbing them wasteful, illegal, and immoral. Tricky tariffs. Trump also signed an executive order stating that as of February 1, countries like Canada and Mexico will be subject to a 25% import tariff, and he signed another about a corporate tax deal created by Biden that set out a minimum global charge negotiated by over 100 different countries. Trump's order said it has no force or effect in the U.S. without an act by Congress.